Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show quite an interesting deck that is about sacred geometry. That is the Sacred Geometry Healing Cards by Kisvarda. This was published about 2 years ago by Schiffer. And here is the box. It's a hard cardboard box with the metallic clasp on the side, and Kisvarda is an Australian creator, and there is also a website for her services and her knowledge of sacred geometry as well. And the name of her website is Phoenix Gateway. So I'll put some details below the video. This deck is quite different. I have an interest in sacred geometry, and I have 2 or 3 other sacred geometry decks, but this one has caught my attention because it's quite different and it's quite a versatile deck as well. I think there's a lot of different applications that you could use this deck for. So there's 49 cards, and these cards are a little bit different as far as Red Feather is concerned, the Schiffer publishing, because these are actually matte finish cards. So they're not even quite semi-matte, which is, I think, quite unusual for Schiffer. So I was quite surprised by that as well. So there's the box. So this was published in 2019. Here is the book written by Kisvarda, and I really quite like the book. It's got a lot of information in here. There are correspondences for each of the sacred geometry cards, and there is a table at the back of the book all about the platonic solids, so that can be very useful for people. And the cards are separated into different categories. They're all numbered, and some of the categories are master cards, creation cards, platonic solids, and frequency cards. And the rest are called common cards, which are referring to the more common sacred geometry shapes. And the frequency cards I find quite interesting because these are to do with sound frequencies. And there's information in here about the sound frequencies as well. And that's something that is not very often included in sacred geometry cards. So I really find the sound frequency cards particularly interesting. There's also, in the back of the book, animal correspondences, crystal properties, even chakras. There is a separate category for those in the back of the book. But I really like the way that the book is written, and for each card there is information about the sacred geometry as well as practical application for each of the cards. And there's numerology as well for correspondences. So I really do think this is quite different, this deck, as far as sacred geometry decks are concerned. So I quite like the book. So now to look at some of the cards. I'll be showing about half the deck. Now here is the back of the cards. The cardstock is quite good. This has the phoenix symbol on the back for the Phoenix Gateway website. here. And I really like the gilding on the deck. It's like a silver grey gilding. So I hope you can see that, the silver grey gilding. And these are basically oracle deck size. They're probably a little bit narrower than the usual square shaped oracle deck size that you normally see. So as I was saying, these are matte finish, which is really quite unusual for Schiffer. So these are all numbered. So here is the first one. This one is called Ancient Sound Frequencies. So it's numbered at the top, and there is the title of the card, and there are some key words under the title. So this is Ancient Sound Frequencies. So you can see with this card just how different these cards are. They're really quite unique. So these are the master cards I'm showing first of all. They're colour coded. This is Macabre Healing. I just find these cards really fascinating. It's another master card. This is Raven Magic. So you can see the raven behind the geometric shape. This is Rebirth. This is Shapeshifter. Really like this one. This is Unlimited Potential. This one is Genesis Pattern. So these cards are the creation cards. This one is familiar to a lot of people, Flower of Life. Like this one, Metatron's Cube. Now for the platonic solids. This is the octahedron. One is icosahedron. This one is one of my favourite ones of the platonic solids. Dodecahedron. Now we get to the frequency cards. I'm going to show you two of those. Here is one of the sound frequency cards. So this represents 174 or 174 hertz. And this one is 285 or 285 hertz. Now for what are called the common cards, or the more commonly known geometric shapes. This one is clarity. This one is expansion. Foundation. One is grounding, and second word is anchoring. Really like this one. This one is harmony. A lot of people will recognize this one, which is meditation. So a lot of people will recognize this geometric design. And this one is protection. Really like this one with the labyrinth design. This is called reflection. Now this card I really like, but it's quite unusual. This one is called Surrender. It's probably the most unusual card of the deck. And the last card I'm showing for today, this one is Vitality. So, there's some of the cards. I've shown about half the deck of the Sacred Geometry Healing cards by Emily Kisvarda. I really like this deck. I just find it really fascinating and interesting, and I find it quite easy to connect with. So I'm really glad that I got this deck recently, and I wanted to show this today to people who might be interested in getting this deck. So, Sacred Geometry Healing Cards by Emily Kisvarda, published by Schiffer, and I will put some details below the video. I hope you enjoyed seeing these cards. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.